Nerds.
Nerds.
Nerds. Nerds!
What is a nerd?
Nerds.
Nerds.
Nerds. Nerds!
What is a nerd?
Hey kids, you're listening to the Radioactive Nerd. And now, on with the show! Look at me! I'm dancing! Yeah!
Now, Eric, I looked over some of your artwork. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your series and a little bit about everything? I mean, you do everything yourself, right?
I do, yeah. Radioactive is a story that I came up with the idea for, and I do, for every issue, I start out with handling the layouts, and I go through the process of doing pencils, inks, writing, all the way up to the production of the book myself, because it's self-published, so.
Well, I mean, that's something, I don't have the talent to draw,
okay,
or even sit down and maybe write a story, but I mean, writing characters and sitting there and doing all that stuff, to me, always is amazing. I mean, how does it feel to finally, when you put it all together, you draw it, you get the story laid out,
yep,
and you actually print your own comic book and you hold it in your hand? I mean,
yeah,
what is that?
That's definitely the best part of the process, is when you're putting everything together at the end and you start to see laying the panels in place and you put the lettering in, and all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, it's a story. You know,
right,
and that is by far the most exciting part.
And then all your friends you've grown up with that you say, hey, you know, one day I'm going to do a comic book, and everybody's like, yeah. And then you walk up and you say, here it is, dude, check it out. I totally pulled it off.
It's pretty cool. That's one of my favorite parts of doing it, is just having it to be like, you know what, I said I was going to do it, and I did it, for real, you know?
Right.
And I'm up to the third issue now, so I can even be like, I did it again and again, you know? Like, I'm going to get this book done. So.
Do you write the stories first, like, write them out as a regular story, and then transfer them, or you just, like, make it up as you go along?
I definitely plot everything out ahead of time, but my process is very visual. I don't do a ton of writing. What I do is I break things down in terms of, I think about events that need to happen in this particular book. I lay those out, and then I start sketching out, like, I break things down into, okay, if these events need to happen, I need maybe this many panels to manage them, and this is what would go in those panels. So a lot of the writing process actually involves drawing out little thumbnails and maybe jotting down a couple lines of dialogue, and then you kind of work that out as you go. But I've plotted the whole 6-issue series at this point, you know, through to the end, and it's a matter of working out the details.
Now, is this your first one?
This is my first major project that I've worked on, and I'm halfway now, 3/6.
It's nice. Now, first of all, what's the name of the series in the comic book?
The series is called Drafted, a story from the Space Marine Corps. This is issue 1 here, and it's a little different in how it goes because it's printed in a wide format.
Yeah, you kind of. I saw that you went to the
I
landscape.
thought it was a new calendar. I was looking for the centerfold.
Yeah, it's kind of got that calendar format. When I sat down to create the book, I thought it'd be cool to do it like in a theater format, 16:9, widescreen.
Right.
And I didn't think at all about how it was going to print. And then I got it done, and I went to print it, and folks were like, we can't print anything that wide. And I was like, oh, what do I do? You know?
Right.
And so this was, you know, that solution to that problem. But I've kind of grown to be kind of attached to it. It's different. Folks seem to like it. I think it gets you to focus on the pages one at a time, you know, as compositions. So it moves you a little away from looking at the spread, but I'm okay with that.
Now, do you also do your comic book digitally?
I do have it available on my website. It's not a webcomic per se, but I've got it up there so folks can read it. I figure I don't buy anything sight unseen, so I'd rather just have it available for folks to read, so they can check it out, and if they want to buy it and support the project, that's great.
Wow, that's awesome.
In my stores.
Now, can you give us a little hint of what's going on with your characters, or, did you sit down, is this something that you just had in your mind for a little while and said, okay, I have these characters in my mind, you know, and then I'm going to put them down and this is what's going to happen? Or did you sort of develop the story first, kind of like what he was asking earlier?
I think I came up with the concept of the story first. I liked the idea of guys being drafted. It's a subject matter that kind of grabs me. Every convention I have, a bunch of folks come up to me who either tell me that they were Marines or were in the armed forces, I have people who are conscientious objectors who want to come up and talk about the draft. And it's not a real preachy book. I don't have an overt message, but I like that subject matter. And so I created these characters who are just average guys. You know, they're not going around kicking a ton of ass. They're just guys who have been pressed into service, and then they wind up on this mission that goes completely south, which is how sort of the first issue starts you out with the first sort of crash landing and everything goes wrong. And it's about them struggling to stay alive, and then it's to these bigger circumstances. And I like the idea that you experience a huge universe through a handful of people, because I think it's more real to the readers that way.
And I've got one more question to you. What advice would you give to guys that are out there that are just starting out, want to get a comic book published, they're good artists, they have good stories? What kind of advice would you give somebody independently that's starting out?
That's tough. I mean, because I'm kind of still starting out myself, but I would say that the most important thing is to make sure that you put yourself out there as much as possible. Like, do the work, and it takes a huge commitment of time, so you got to do the work, and then every time you do something, make sure you get out there and post it on the internet, post it on your Facebook, and try and network, talk to people, and just try and get as many avenues out there as you can. Because, I mean, if you've got a good story, folks want to read that story, and you have to make it as available to them as possible.
All right. Well, Eric, we appreciate you coming on the show. It's good to meet you, and you're nice enough to autograph a couple copies for our listeners. We're gonna have a little giveaway at the end of the show, and we really appreciate you doing that for us.
Yeah, I'm glad to.
And tell us where they can go find your website.
If you want to read the comic, check out my stuff. Go to www.ewlynch.com, and the story's all there under that. You click on Drafted, and it's got the books laid out as issues.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on the show. It's been a good time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
You bet.
You've been listening to the Radioactive Nerd. Tune in next week for more nerdy goodness. Goodbye.